Marcus Chen floated through the dark corridors of the abandoned station, his flashlight cutting through 300 years of dust. The beam caught on twisted metal and broken glass. Everything here was dead and forgotten, exactly the kind of place where a salvage mechanic could find something valuable. His boots clicked against the metal floor as artificial gravity kicked in. The station groaned around him like an old beast waking up. Marcus checked his scanner. Nothing dangerous. Just old tech and empty rooms. Come on, there has to be something worth selling here, he muttered to himself. He owed money to too many people. The kind of people who didn't accept excuses. This salvage job was supposed to fix everything, but so far he had found nothing except junk. Marcus descended deeper into the station. The walls here were different, covered in strange symbols he didn't recognize. They glowed faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. His scanner went crazy, beeping warnings he didn't understand. He should have turned back. Smart people turned back when things got weird. But Marcus needed money more than he needed to be smart. The corridor ended at a massive door, sealed tight. The symbols on it were brighter here, almost alive. Marcus ran his hand over the surface. It was warm. After 3 centuries in dead space, nothing should be warm. He pulled out his tools and started working on the lock mechanism. It took him 20 minutes to bypass the ancient security. The door hissed and began to open, releasing air that smelled like metal and something else. Something organic. The room beyond was enormous. In the center stood a cylinder of pure energy, crackling and humming with power. And inside that cylinder was something that made Marcus's heart stop. A creature. Massive and wolf-like, but not like any wolf from Earth. It stood 8 feet tall even in its slouched, restrained position. Its fur was matted and scarred, dark as midnight with streaks of silver. Chains made of solid energy wrapped around its body, digging into flesh and metal both. Parts of its body had been replaced with crude cybernetics, old and brutal looking. The creature's eyes were closed. Marcus thought it might be dead until he saw its chest rise and fall, barely breathing. He approached slowly, his hands shaking. On the wall nearby, he found a console still functioning. Marcus accessed it, his translator struggling with the ancient language. Slowly, words formed on his screen. Subject Ashkara. Fenrir-class Guardian. Containment. Day 291,847. Status neutralized. Warning, extreme danger if released. Marcus stared at the number. Day 291,847. That was almost 800 years. This creature had been trapped here, alone, for 800 years. His stomach turned. He looked back at the being in the cylinder. Now he could see the scars more clearly. Burns. Cuts. Torture marks. Someone had hurt this creature over and over again. Jesus, Marcus whispered. He should leave. He should run back to his ship and forget he ever saw this. The warning was clear. Extreme danger. But Marcus looked at those chains. He looked at the scars. He thought about 800 years of pain and darkness and loneliness. He thought about what it meant to be trapped while the universe forgot you existed. His hands moved before his brain could stop them. He began working on the console, searching for the containment release protocols. The system fought him, demanding authorization codes he didn't have. So Marcus did what mechanics do. He took apart the console and rewired it manually. Sparks flew. Alarms began to wail. The energy chains flickered. Come on, Marcus urged, sweat dripping down his face. With a final keystroke, the system crashed. The energy cylinder shattered like glass. The chains dissolved into nothing. The creature dropped to the floor with a heavy thud. For a moment, nothing happened. Marcus held his breath. Then the Guardian's eyes opened, glowing like molten gold, and fixed directly on him with the fury of 800 years of imprisonment. The Guardian moved faster than anything that size should move. 1 second she was on the ground. The next, Marcus was pinned against the wall, a massive clawed hand around his throat. Her face was inches from his, teeth bared, eyes burning with rage. Marcus couldn't breathe. He couldn't speak. He could only stare into those golden eyes and see centuries of pain staring back. The Guardian's mouth opened. A sound came out, deep and rumbling like rocks grinding together. Marcus's translator earpiece crackled to life. Krell filth, the voice growled. I will tear you apart slowly. Not Krell. Marcus choked out, his vision going dark. The pressure on his throat lessened slightly. The Guardian tilted her head, studying him. Her nostrils flared, breathing in his scent. Human, she said, confusion mixing with the anger. What is a human? She released him. Marcus collapsed to the floor, gasping for air. The Guardian stepped back, swaying slightly. Now that she wasn't trying to kill him, Marcus could see how weak she was. Her legs shook. The cybernetic parts of her body sparked and failed. "You freed me," she said, still confused. "What? What do you want from me?" "Nothing," Marcus coughed, rubbing his throat. "I just couldn't leave you like that." The Guardian stared at him like he had spoken nonsense. She sat down heavily, her energy failing. "I am Ashkara," she said quietly. "Guardian of the Valtor people. We protected the weak. We kept peace." Her voice became bitter. "Then the Krell came. They killed my people and took me. They said Guardians made perfect weapons. They broke us. Used us. When I refused to fight for them, they locked me away." Marcus slowly stood up, keeping his movements careful. "How long?" "I do not know. Time stopped meaning anything." 800 years, Marcus said softly. "You've been here for 800 years. Something flickered in Ashkara's eyes. Pain deeper than any wound. She looked down at her scarred hands. Marcus grabbed his medkit from his belt. "Let me help you. Those cybernetics are failing." "Why?" Ashkara asked again. "I nearly killed you. I am dangerous. I am broken. Why help me?" "Because it's the right thing to do," Marcus said simply. He approached slowly and began working on the damaged cybernetics, removing the worst pieces, treating the infected wounds beneath them. Ashkara watched him work with confusion on her wolf-like face. "In my time, species only helped their own," she said. "You are human. I am Guardian. We are nothing to each other." "Maybe that's what makes humans different," Marcus said, applying medical gel to a deep burn scar. "We help because someone needs help. That's enough reason." Ashkara had no response to that. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the station. Marcus's scanner screamed warnings. His blood went cold. "Ship approaching. Multiple weapons signatures," he read from the screen. "Krell remnant hunters. They detected the power surge when you freed me," Ashkara said, trying to stand. Her legs gave out. Marcus caught her, struggling under her weight. "Can you walk?" "I can fight." "You can barely stand." "We're running, not fighting." He pulled Ashkara's arm over his shoulder and half-dragged her toward the exit. Behind them, they heard the station shudder as the hunter ship docked. Footsteps echoed through the corridors. Harsh voices shouted in the Krell language. "A Guardian. The sensors don't lie. Worth a fortune if we take it alive." Marcus and Ashkara stumbled through the corridors. Energy blasts scorched the walls around them. Marcus fired back with his small pistol, barely slowing their pursuers. They reached Marcus's ship, the Rusty Comet, just as the hunters rounded the corner. Marcus shoved Ashkara through the airlock and slammed the controls. The ship's engines roared to life. Weapons fire hammered against the hull as they detached and burned away from the station. Marcus pushed the engines to maximum, jumping to hyperspace the second they cleared the gravity well. In the cargo hold, Ashkara lay on the floor, breathing hard. She looked at Marcus with those ancient golden eyes. "You saved me twice today, human." "Why?" Marcus smiled tiredly. "Ask me again when I figure it out myself." 3 days passed in hyperspace. Ashkara healed faster than Marcus expected. She spent most of her time watching him work on the ship, studying him with those intense golden eyes. Marcus treated the ship's old AI system with respect, talking to it like a friend. He organized his tools carefully, cleaning each one before putting it away. When he ate his meals, simple ration packs, he offered half to Ashkara even though his supplies were running low. "Why do you do that?" Ashkara asked one evening. "Do what?" "Share your food. You have barely enough for yourself." Marcus shrugged. "You need to eat too." "We'll manage." Ashkara's ears flattened against her head. In her world, in her time, the strong took everything. The weak got nothing. This human confused her more each day. "In Guardian culture," she said slowly, "when someone saves your life, you owe them a life debt. I must protect you until the debt is repaid." Marcus looked up from his work, frowning. "That's not necessary. I don't want a bodyguard." "You do not understand. I must do this. It is who I am." "You don't owe me anything, Ashkara. I helped because I wanted to help." This concept seemed to break something in Ashkara's mind. She stared at him for a long moment. "You expect nothing in return? No service? No loyalty? No payment? No. You're free. That's the whole point." Ashkara stood and placed her hand over her heart in what looked like a formal gesture. "Then I choose this debt freely. I will protect you, Marcus Chin, whether you want it or not." Marcus sighed, but he was smiling. "You're stubborn." "Yes," Ashkara agreed. "Guardians always are." The ship dropped out of hyperspace near Frontier Station 7. Marcus needed supplies desperately. Fuel, food, and spare parts. They docked carefully, and Marcus made Ashkara wear a long cloak to hide her appearance. "Just stay close and stay quiet," Marcus said. The station marketplace was crowded and loud. Hundreds of species trading, arguing, and doing business. Marcus moved through the crowd, buying what he needed with his dwindling credits. He didn't notice the watchers. But Ashkara did. "Marcus," she said quietly, "we are being followed. Multiple groups." "What? Who?" "Krell remnants. Corporate mercenaries. And something else. Something that smells like old metal and death." Before Marcus could respond, someone shouted. "There. The human with the guardian." The marketplace exploded into chaos. Energy blasts filled the air. Merchants and shoppers screamed and ran. Marcus dove behind a cargo container as weapons fire tore through the space where he had been standing. Ashkara's cloak burned away. She stood in the open, fully visible now. Her eyes glowed brighter. "Stay down, Marcus," she growled. What happened next, Marcus would remember for the rest of his life. Ashkara moved like water and struck like thunder. She dodged blasts that should have hit her, her body blurring between solid and transparent. She grabbed a Krell hunter and threw him 50 feet into a wall. Her claws cut through armor like paper. But Marcus noticed something. She was holding back, pulling her strikes, making sure she only hurt, not killed. A corporate soldier aimed a heavy plasma cannon at Marcus. Ashkara phased through a solid wall and appeared between them, taking the blast meant for him. She roared in pain but didn't fall. "Enough!" she howled, and the sound carried power that made everyone freeze. In that moment of stillness, Marcus grabbed her arm. "The ship. Now." They ran together, Ashkara clearing the path, Marcus guiding the way. They reached the rusty comet and launched before the station security could lock them down. As they jumped to hyperspace again, Marcus sat in the pilot's chair, hands shaking. Ashkara collapsed beside him, smoke rising from her burned shoulder. "You saved me," Marcus said quietly. "Life debt," Ashkara replied, but her voice was softer now, almost gentle. Marcus looked at her wounded shoulder and realized the truth. As long as Ashkara stayed with him, people would hunt them. They would never stop. He had freed the deadliest guardian in the galaxy, and now both their lives would never be simple again. But looking at Ashkara, seeing the person beneath the weapon, Marcus couldn't regret it. Not for a second. Marcus sent an emergency signal to the human colonial fleet. He had no choice. Too many people were hunting them, and his small ship couldn't run forever. Commander Sarah Rodriguez responded within hours. Her face appeared on the view screen, eyes wide with shock when she saw Ashkara standing behind Marcus. "Is that really a guardian?" she breathed. "Her name is Ashkara," Marcus said firmly. "And she needs protection, not a cage." The fleet brought them to Defense Station Apollo. Scientists, military officers, and politicians all wanted to meet the legendary guardian. They treated Ashkara like a museum piece, asking endless questions, requesting scans and tests. "This is incredible," one scientist said, not even looking at Ashkara's face. "Guardian DNA could advance our medical technology by centuries. We need samples. Lots of samples." "She's not a lab rat," Marcus snapped. A military general stepped forward. "With respect, Mechanic Chin, this guardian is the most powerful weapon we've ever encountered. In the right hands she could protect all of humanity." "I am not a weapon," Ashkara said quietly, but her voice carried weight that made everyone step back. Marcus stood between them and Ashkara. "She's not property. She's not a tool. She's a person, and I won't let you treat her like the Krell did." The room erupted into arguments. Some humans agreed with Marcus. Others said humanity's safety came first. Ashkara watched them debate, argue, even yell at each other. But nobody gave orders. Nobody forced obedience. "They fight with words," she said to Marcus later, amazed. "No one dies. No one is punished for disagreeing. That's democracy," Marcus explained. "Messy, loud, but everyone gets a voice." Over the following days, Marcus showed Ashkara more of human culture. He played music for her, everything from classical to rock. Her ears perked up at a violin concerto, and she sat perfectly still, listening. "You create beauty for no reason," she whispered. "Just because it feels good." "Exactly." He showed her human art through the station's database. Paintings, sculptures, poetry. He showed her Earth through VR simulations, the blue oceans and green forests. "Your planet is so young," Ashkara said, walking through a virtual forest. "Your species even younger." You barely left your world a few centuries ago. We're still learning, Marcus admitted. We make mistakes. Lots of them. But we try to do better. Ashkara touched a virtual tree. The Krell were old, ancient. They knew everything and felt nothing. Humans are young and feel everything. She looked at Marcus. I think I prefer the young way. That night, alarms blared throughout the station. A massive ship appeared from nowhere, blocking all escape routes. The view screens showed something that made Ashkara's blood run cold. The Collector, she whispered. I know that ship. It served the Krell Empire. A voice filled every speaker on the station, cold and mechanical. I have hunted Guardians for 1,000 years. I extract their immortality codes, their power, their essence. You are the last free Guardian, Ashkara. Surrender and I will spare the humans. Never, Ashkara growled. The Collector's ship opened fire. Hundreds of drones poured out, tearing through the station's defenses. Human fighters launched to meet them, but they were outnumbered. Marcus ran to the weapons control room. Ashkara followed. I must fight, she said. This is what I was made for. You're afraid? Marcus noticed. Why? Ashkara's claws dug into the metal floor. When I fought for the Krell, I became a monster. I killed without thinking. Without feeling. What if I become that again? Marcus took her massive clawed hand in his small human one. You won't. I've seen who you really are. You protect. You don't destroy. How can you be sure? Because you choose to be better. That's what makes you different from a weapon. Outside the battle raged. The Collector's forces pushed closer. Ashkara looked at Marcus, then at the humans fighting desperately to protect their home. She saw them working together, sacrificing for strangers, choosing hope over fear. Her eyes blazed golden. Then let me show this ancient AI what humanity taught me. She walked toward the airlock, ready to face her greatest fear and become the guardian she was always meant to be. Ashkara launched herself into space through the airlock. No suit. No ship. Just her body and 800 years of contained fury. The Collector's drones swarmed her immediately. She didn't dodge. She phased through them, her body becoming like smoke, then solid again as she tore through their cores. Her claws extended, glowing with ancient energy. Inside the station, Marcus coordinated the human defense. All fighters cover the Guardian. Don't let those drones overwhelm her. Human pilots who had never seen a Guardian before now flew beside one. They watched in awe as Ashkara moved through space like a silver ghost, faster than their sensors could track. But the Collector had fought Guardians before. Its main ship fired a containment beam, the same technology the Krell had used. The beam caught Ashkara, and she screamed as electricity coursed through her body. No! Marcus shouted. He grabbed the station's weapons controls himself, firing everything at the Collector's ship. The ancient AI's voice laughed. Foolish human. Your weapons cannot harm me. And the Guardian will be mine just like all the others. Ashkara struggled in the beam, memories flooding back. The torture. The chains. The feeling of her mind being crushed until she was nothing but a tool. Then she heard Marcus's voice over the comms. Ashkara. You're not alone this time. We're with you. Human ships positioned themselves between Ashkara and the Collector, taking hits meant for her. Pilots she didn't know sacrificing themselves to protect her. Just like Marcus had done in the marketplace. Something broke inside Ashkara. Not her spirit. The chains around it. Her eyes blazed brighter than stars. She stopped fighting the beam and instead absorbed it, channeling the energy back into herself. Her body shifted, becoming pure light, then solid again. She phased through the beam entirely. Impossible, the Collector said, its voice finally showing emotion. Fear. I am not the Guardian you remember, Ashkara roared. I do not fight because I am forced. I fight because I choose to protect. She moved faster than light itself, her Guardian powers fully unleashed. Time seemed to slow around her. She could see every possible future, every trajectory, every weakness in the Collector's ship. But she didn't kill blindly. She targeted systems, not lives. She disabled, not destroyed. She protected just like Marcus said. Marcus saw it too. She's in control. She's actually doing it. The Collector launched its final weapon, a massive energy blast meant to destroy the entire station. Ashkara placed herself in front of it. The blast hit her full force. Marcus screamed her name. But Ashkara didn't fall. She caught the energy in her clawed hands, compressed it and threw it back. The Collector's ship exploded in a brilliant flash. Then Ashkara fell, her body burning, her energy spent. Marcus watched helplessly as she drifted in space. Human rescue ships rushed to her, bringing her back to the station's medical bay. Marcus stayed by her side for 3 days while she healed. When Ashkara finally opened her eyes, Marcus was holding her hand. "The debt is paid," she said weakly. "I protected you. We are even." Marcus smiled, tears in his eyes. "That's not why you fought though, is it?" Ashkara was quiet for a moment. Then she squeezed his hand gently. "No. I fought because you are my friend. The first real friend I have had in 800 years. The Human Coalition offered Ashkara citizenship, a home, protection. Other guardians across the galaxy, sensing her freedom, began to wake from their hidden prisons. But Ashkara chose to stay with Marcus. Not because of debt. Not because of duty. Because she wanted to. They returned to the rusty comet together. Marcus went back to his workshop, fixing things and taking small jobs. Ashkara helped him, learning to use tools with her massive claws. One evening, as they worked side by side, Ashkara spoke softly. "A human with a wrench freed me in an afternoon. The Krell Empire with all its power could not break me, but a mechanic with a kind heart gave me back my soul." Marcus looked up at her and grinned. "Humanity's pretty great that way." "Yes," Ashkara agreed, her golden eyes warm. "Perhaps your species will teach the galaxy what it means to be truly free." Outside their workshop, stars blazed in the darkness. And for the first time in centuries, a guardian stood watch, not because she was ordered to, but because she chose to protect those worth protecting.